6:30.
That'll teach me how to read the back. Wrong building.
Yeah, did you, oh, Ron building.
Yeah, John and I spent the, trade center.
Yeah, I thought you still
We
made
made
it.
it.
Okay, well, I'd like to call the October 21st, 20th. Council on Aging meeting to order. First thing we'll do is take attendance. So let's see, because we do some online members. John Parson.
Yeah.
Joan Coco. Rosemary De Benedetto. Dave Harrington.
Here.
Tony Leonetta, Karen Panett.
Here.
Ron Powell,
Here.
Jean Prado, John Sazinski, Marilyn Shapley. Here. Deborah Small, Thomas O'Connor.
Yeah.
And Nancy Zimlack.
Here.
Do we have enough voting members? 1, 2, 3, 4.
You went faster. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we need 6?
We need 6.
Great, 6. So we will. Jean didn't make it yet. All right, so who do we want to move up?
I'm a non.
Oh, you're not a member?
How many
I'm a
members?
non-voting.
Your associate?
Yeah.
How many full members do we
10.
have? We need 6. So
Aren't
Kate,
on
since
both?
you're in the room, can
Elevate
we
you.
elevate you to a voting member until Jean comes in?
Okay,
Okay. All right. First item, so to run through the agenda, we have to approve minutes. We have the appointment of the secretary or vote on the secretary. Are you you taking minutes?
No, I just always jot this down because then
Okay.
I can check them and
Alright.
see if they're right.
We're doing a select
And
board
they usually
update
are.
with Karen Rose Gillis, an operations plan for retail, presentation and discussion, membership, fitness, room and rentals with Chris, Jenna, John, and Emily, a COA discussion for operations that I will lead, Elder and Human Services report and trust fund report. Chris will offer that. PBC update will be with Nancy. COA table of the connected Reading open loan house at the library is just an announcement. I will make that announcement. Discussion and vote to change COA monthly meeting start time. I will leave that. And then future agenda items, which include, we have to discuss our date for November because there is town meeting. And that will interfere. So the first item, we want to approve minutes. Marilyn took excellent minutes.
Did we figure out who John C is? It just, and
No,
the gentleman next one is,
that's wrong.
oh, that's wrong, okay.
This Barbara's like,
It should go in the.
I'm gonna take a wild guess at Barbara Wolf. I know she
Barbara's-
watches them. She's just a citizen.
Right, right. Do we need to, should we ask people who they
Sure,
are?
why not?
Yes, John C. and Barbara's iPad. Can you identify yourself so we can document you in our minutes?
Or type it in the chat.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, or add it in the chat.
If they're not participating, I don't know that it makes it much difference.
Okay.
but-
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
All of those in favor? We do have to do a roll call
Yeah,
because
we
we're
gotta do
on there. Karen,
Yes.
John Parson,
Yes, here, yes. Whatever.
Kate. Marilyn,
yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Karen, yes. Is that 6? Okay, passes unanimously. Okay. So we have this issue every meeting. Marilyn was kind enough to look into, see if we could ask the town to offer this option as well. And you found out that about 50%
About
of them.
50% of them have someone from town staff taking their minutes for them. And the
Oh.
Council on Aging used to, before I took it on, there was some, and they were so grateful, and I was so naive and didn't realize what I was getting. So, and did it for 7 years, but I mean, I think we've done our fair share of us
And-
doing it.
And 50% don't.
Right.
50% someone in the organization. Marilyn did an outstanding job with the minutes, and Kate also did the previous one. And we've had really good, but what I wanted to offer is, because we do need somebody permanent. That is one of the offices of the Council on Aging. So we do need somebody to step up. But one of the things that I wanted to suggest, because I noticed the PBC meeting minutes, they're just typed into the agenda. You notice that?
Well, interesting, today I got the transcript from the BBC meeting
Oh,
and this is what came out and it's pretty good.
yeah.
So I would be willing to do that on a regular
So,
basis.
I was thinking.
Yeah, so as it's recorded, it just pretty much records the action items and who voted for what. And if people want to add in a personal word here or there, otherwise, I mean, take one page home and take a look at it. I thought it was pretty good. Marilyn thought it was pretty good. And it was wicked easy to do.
So are you volunteering?
I am.
Thank
That's pretty good.
Second, third.
you.
But only if I can do this.
Absolutely, we don't need,
Only if I can do this.
But are we required to reformat it into the template?
Yeah, I'll put
Oh,
it
you
in,
do that? You
I'll
put it in-
I'll
okay.
put it into the template.
Okay,
But it
simplify,
basically will just be this
fine,
in
right,
the template. That's
Yeah.
all.
perfect.
yeah,
So I can do that.
okay, so we do need to vote, yeah.
Karen, Jean Prado's on.
Oh, good.
Yay, Jean's here.
Welcome, Jean.
Well, good evening.
You're
So,
de-elevated.
thank you. Dr. Martis.
Joanne.
So
It was
do
a
we
long
have,
term.
we do need to, somebody needs to nominate you. So,
I nominate Nancy Zimlack as secretary.
Second.
all those in favor, roll call. Let's start with Jean, where just to catch you up to date, Nancy has volunteered and has been selected to take our minutes, be our secretary. So we're voting. Jean? Are you-
Yes.
Ron? Oh, no, Ron, never mind, sorry. John Parsons? Nancy Zimlack?
Yeah,
Marilyn Chapman?
but no one better make
You
any
can always use that.
changes. I don't care if it's
I know.
capitalized
This
and
is the
it should
problem,
be
we had the errors she
capitalized.
doesn't want to fix, but anyway.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Karen, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for
You're
volunteering and for your service. The select board update with Karen Rose Gillis.
Hi, everybody. The biggest news is trash, so I'm gonna keep it to one topic. My favorite topic the last month. We've gone over it a couple meetings about trash, and we finally resolved it this last Thursday where we had a great meeting. Very calm, very collected. We really buckled down and made sure it got done that night, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I'm not happy that it's cost more for less,
Right.
don't get me wrong. And nobody was happy, but that means it was a good session because, there's no winners or losers. Our trash will get picked up and that's the most important part of it. So, does anybody want to know the details about the trash or did everybody watch? I don't know.
Well, it's very good that Carlo picked that up. That issue about the,
It really was, and it was kind of a hidden thing that I don't think anybody noticed, including them.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like, ooh, that's kind of a big.
What was the hidden thing?
The issue was, not to get too technical, two different vendors. They had their RFP proposals they were to submit and it was based on, we had always been under the belief that, everyone in town can rent an extra trash can every year for $240 if you need it. But you can get an extra free recycling thing for nothing.
Mhm.
And it turns out that Waste Management did a calculation based on the number of barrels or households that there are, and I'm probably, don't quote me, and every barrel above that was gonna cost us more money, whereas so that their final figure wasn't really legitimate to the number of trash barrels we actually have. And not through any of their fault. I think it was kind of one of those nuanced things in the contract. And then Republic, it was for however many cans we had. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't gonna cost nearly as much. And so that was kind of the discrepancy that Carlo picked up during the meeting that had gone by everybody. And so that was a pretty big, I think that was a deciding factor between the two vendors. Because price wise, they all kept going back and forth and brought it really, really close. But I think that amongst a couple other things brought it so that we're sticking with our same trash company, so there won't be any transition.
They're still picking up leaves.
They will still pick up leaves. I read something today, and don't quote me. The only real negative part is there'll be no pickups street side of burnable items or metal, but the town will be able to provide some drop-off things at the DPW for burnable type things. And so, and I do think that we can kind of create a couple other things during the year that will still cost us some money, but it will probably be less than if you decided to throw 10 things a year out next to your trash and pay $30 a piece. And we did get them to come down in the price per item for burnable and small metal, which was big because Republic had very high individual items.
I
So
didn't
they-
even know we could do burnable.
Chairs, burnable is more like chairs, anything that you could technically burn. So anything wood related, mattresses,
Oh, they'll
stuff
take
like that.
mattresses? 'Cause
They will.
mattresses have really
They,
strict laws
they
now.
haven't before, it's been $110 per mattress.
You have to pay for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, no, if you want to get rid of anything big,
They'll
do
pick
it
it
now.
up, but you.
Through June. Yeah, that was my.
And that's not something that we,
Okay.
mattresses cost money, but you can put out one, big items now, but we can no longer.
You won't be able to later unless you pay for it. So you
Yes.
can arrange with them and they'll
Okay.
come pick it up.
Okay.
But they have good communication systems. Type in the computer and have them come swing by your house. Or if there's a missed pickup, you enter it and they come get it. So
They
So a lot-
promise not to go on strike.
they're not union, neither company. is
That's why
union, so
they
that
always
was,
go
yeah,
with the other side.
yeah, so. I don't know if anyone has any questions. That was a big thing. It was like the first thing that I think, and definitely me, because I'm new, but a first big thing that the group has had to negotiate. It didn't have to go to town meeting to vote on. When you think about it, a lot of stuff goes directly to the town, and this one did not, so. Other than water rates and things like that, but this is a big thing. So that's pretty much it.
Great, thank you. All right. Next item, the operation plan for RECAL, which includes a presentation.
Yes. If we can hold questions off until the end. I know Emily has a hard stop at,
Have a small child that needs to be fetched.
yes.
7:08.
So both are,
Oh, shoot, we should have gone in first.
so anyhow, just our two guests are, I don't know if I call you guests, I guess, I don't know. Emily and John, I just want to make sure we're respectful of their time. So we'll get into this, ask questions, and go from there. Great. Jenna's gonna have the slideshow.
Yeah, I can't do full screen because it won't move to the next slide, so you're gonna have to just,
Okay,
yeah, sorry.
all right, next slide.
Yes.
All right, so policies and procedures. The policies and procedures at the Reading Center for Active Living ensure a safe, equitable, and effective environment for both users and staff, while also maximizing the center's positive impact on community well-being. They provide a structured framework that guides daily operations, manages risks, and ensures fair access and consistent service delivery to all members of the it's hard, policies, I think everyone understands is just so important. And they also protect us at the same time.
Could I just ask a question? Are we just gonna do the same thing we've already read?
What's that?
Are we gonna just do the same thing that we've already read?
What do you,
I mean, I think we're all familiar with this. We've all read it.
yeah, we're all,
Do we need to go over it again?
I think it's worth walking
Yeah,
through it,
it's-
yeah.
And summarizing.
and just summarizing.
And for the public, I guess, that are watching it later.
Yeah,
And this is the first time that we're actually seeing anything in writing for the operations plan. So I'm assuming we wanna,
And we're not gonna read through, I just wanna make sure we
Yeah.
read through that first page.
Yeah.
Um,
And most speakers end up And living and
Yeah.
elaborating and.
Anyhow, it's like the next slide, as you can see, existing policies and procedures right there. That just shows what we have going, volunteers, property tax workers, emergency rentals, transportation. So that just gives you an idea of what we've already been using for multiple years. So feel free to take a glance at that on your own. Next slide.
Oh, sorry. What's field permitting?
Oh, that's for recreation.
For recreation.
Oh, okay.
Next slide, Jenna. There it is. All right, as you can see on the left top side there, forms drafted for the COA. Tonight, we're going to be going over program participation policy, standards of independence, rental policy, fitness equipment. So those will be the 3 bullet points that we're going to go a little bit more into depth here in just a second. Draft forms still being worked on. You can see on the lower left side right there, those are things that are still, we will talk about in the future. So we're still discussing them and those will be rolled out. Existing forms, again, on the right side right there, you can see property tax worker, volunteer application, recreation scholarship program, part-time employee application, social services intake forms. So, I mean, the big thing with that right there is we have a lot of forms that we use that are already existing. And we have a lot of policies. So that's the big thing right there to keep in mind. So we're going to proceed with the 3 bullet points that we had on the top left there.
Sure, so I'm Jenna Wood, and I'm gonna just be presenting really quick about the draft membership packet. So, and what is specifically in this packet. So this is when someone is online registering for the first time, or they come into the Recal Center, they'll get this packet, which is, a little bit overwhelming, 7 pages, but I think a little bit more maybe, give or take. But this is the form that will give them all the information they need. So, and give us the information that we need for their safety and for their medical information and all that good stuff. So the membership packet that you have is the family one, and we will be creating an individual one that specifies certain things that someone would have as an individual. So for our 60+ population, Chris and his team have already went over several different things that they'd like to include in that individual packet, especially for the 60+. Like, do you live alone? Are there any medical conditions you want us to know about? And a list of other things. And we will be making that individual packet, and that's just the front page that will be different from the one that you saw. And we can get that over to you once we dive deep into what Elder Services wants, and even Will would like some information on there too, if someone's an individual and a veteran, and are you interested in getting assistance? Are you interested in meeting with the Veteran Services Officer? Things like that. And on the second page of the draft membership packet, you would see there's going to be an intro. Again, something that we're going to be working on, and we'll get you for your feedback. But it's going to be an intro on what Recal is, how we got here, some key could be the mission and the vision statement and the guiding principles, just welcoming people into the building, giving a rundown of what the space will be. But again, that's going to be a little bit more detailed, and we didn't dive deep into like the summary that it will be, but that's what we want to kind of lead into all of these different policies and procedures, which will then be the participation policy that you saw, the general policies, all the liability and consent forms, your photo consent form, the standards of independence, which are extremely important to the 60+ population, and Chris's team. Those were adopted by the Council on Aging and the Town Manager's Office, so those do need to be in this packet, very important. The indoor walking track policy and the sign off, and like I said, the forms can be filled out online or in person. And then you'll see on the right-hand side, we just put some of the things that we kind of brainstormed in our subgroup, just about different various things in regard to what's in the draft membership packet. And this is kind of what we want to go over tonight after we go through, is just, hey, what are your brainstorms from looking at this information? anything you want to add, any suggestions you have, and we might not have all the answers tonight, but we definitely want to revisit it and add it or change it as we go along. And then we can always come back to it and send out updated drafts and things like that. So the next slide is the draft fitness equipment room packet, and I'll turn it over.
So can I just ask, are we gonna discuss these tonight?
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so
not?
at the
Oh,
end,
okay.
you can, yeah,
Thank you.
give all your comments,
Okay.
yeah.
So, as Chris mentioned, we have a lot of existing policies and procedures, and then there are a few that are gonna be coming up that we need to start from scratch, and this was kind of one of them, so. In the recal, you know, there's going to be this new fitness equipment room, and we had a lot of thoughts and questions about how are we gonna manage access? Who is allowed to go in? Is there a membership fee? What is the membership fee? All of that good stuff. And so in the packet that you guys got, I think Jenna sent all of these things to you guys a little ahead so you could see. But some of the questions we considered, like, how are we gonna know if someone, you know, has paid? So how are we gonna manage that access? Do we need a key tag for the front door and a second one for the fitness room? You know, these are kinds of the brainstorming we did to kind of come to where the draft is now. Like Jenna said, you know, we're really interested in feedback of like, how will this work for you all when you're starting to use this equipment room? One of the questions that came up for the fitness room in particular, you know, is there a liability in just saying, here you go use the weights, right? Like, so do we need somebody who's there to orient someone, or is it okay to have a video orientation? Like, how do we let somebody know, what is this equipment? How do I use it safely? How do I use it properly? And then, you know, we talked about supervision in the room. You know, in the Y, there's, you know, a couple of trainers walking around, like, will we have staff that is there, or is it the front desk staff kind of does some rounds and walks around? So these are kinds of the questions that came up, you know, adding this new resource to town that we've never managed before. You know, so we kind of came up with a draft. We started with a draft from another town that has something similar and kind of made it our own. So we'll be really interested to hear your feedback and questions on those policies as you see yourself using these equipment. I tried to be brief.
Good job.
So the last packet that we sent out to folks to look at is the rental packet. I think people know we obviously have a rental policy today, but this is going to be a bit more comprehensive. So we did actually look at not only what exists today, we actually looked at what the library does as an example, and we even looked at a whole bunch of other communities and how they manage that. And I will say this one was a challenge to kind of pull it all together because it had stuff all over the place. We tried to coordinate it into a comprehensive approach, kind of describing the policy, the procedures for how you go about renting a room, and then what are the things that each person has to attest to as part of that. There was a lot of conversations about, we talked about where does food, are we allowed to bring in food? Who has access to use the kitchen? What can be done in the kitchen? How does the person responsible for the rental have to attest to the participants and manage all of that? Can they charge for bringing people in? There's a whole bunch of policy related things embedded in this that I think we've made some initial assessments on, but this is definitely an area where we want some more feedback. And then we talked about this. I mean, there's things in there about insurance certificates for groups that are bringing things in that are going to be using certain areas in the community in the rooms, but versus somebody that might want to have a birthday party or a small meeting in a small group, then maybe different requirements for that we have to consider. There's an initial set of fees. There's a fee schedule that's in there for conversation, but I think that's really more of a town staff decision. But the short story is we've tried to put all that information together for folks to take a look at. So the last piece is on all of these, we have to understand how do we, once we do come to conclusions on these, how do we communicate the policy? we do expect to have these, as Jenna was saying, packets for people to fill out, whether it's for signing up for recal, or whether it's wanting to rent a room, or whether it's wanting to use the fitness center. These things will be available for folks. We'll have written copies. We're hoping to put as much of this stuff online as possible, cut down on the use of paper where possible. How's the policy enforced? So that's going to fall to the responsibility of town staff and that are responsible for recal. And we'll need to come up with an approach for what is a policy violation result in, and how does one approach that and define it. So that's still something that's up for conversation, but I think it's important that we recognize there should be some policy on that in particular. And then I think the last piece is actually one of the most important, and I think I said this the last time we were here. None of us expect these policies to be perfect, so we will expect to review them on a regular basis, most likely every year, going through from a recal perspective. And one thing I heard mentioned, just so from Jenna's perspective, these policies cover multiple areas. It isn't just COA. There's some rec stuff. There may be other things that are impacted. So the policy review process is going to have to be a little bit more broader in terms of who gets to look at which policies to review, because they may not just all be, the purview of COA, but there may be other groups responsible. So we just have to think about how to do that. And I think as long as we recognize that that's an important step in this as well.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, if there is something on the list of existing policies or procedures or something that you see in this particular slide, I think it's gonna pop up again. Something that, so the forms for therapeutic rec, maybe we won't present that formally here, but if you have a special interest in that, please let me know, and you can come in and meet with me as an aside, or meet with Chris, or meet with the recreation administrator, because it'd be impossible to go over all of these forms in detail, but we can give you what we have so you can look at it, even if we don't go over it in a formal meeting. And if there's some suggestions you want to make, or again, want to have those private meetings with staff, if you have a special interest, that would be great. So we're open to all the help that we can get, really. So, and I think, did you have anything else with your slides?
Done.
Oh, okay, great. And then the last one is just the updated timeline. We hope to present some programming things in the next meeting. Hopefully we have everything buttoned up to present at the next meeting. I'm not quite sure when your meeting date is. I'm sure you'll discuss that later, but hopefully we can get that buttoned up, and if we can't, maybe we can move it to early December to your next meeting. So it's just the same timeline as it was before. We're on track, and we can open it up for discussion. John?
I've got one question on the programs form and two questions on the gym or the gym form. The question I have on this participation form, at this one point, it says, also I consent to the publication and distribution of photographs or videos taken of me or my children by the releases during the participation of town leading community services program. What's the thinking behind that? That someone signs this and then all of a sudden their child or their picture winds up someplace that they might not want it?
Right. So in that case, if they don't want that, then they would have to opt out of signing that. And that's something that we actually discussed in our last meeting, I think, is making that a little bit more broad, just saying, are you comfortable with this policy, opt in or opt out of photographs? So we'll know that whoever's coming in and participating in a program at ReCal, if they have not released their photo consent, that we know that we can't use it. So they wouldn't.
Did you ever think of, if you took the photos, checking with them first whether you can release it?
Well, that would be in the packet, in the initial packet. They'll have to figure that out when they sign up. So we'll know right when they sign up, and it'll be under their account.
So, I mean, maybe I didn't express myself correctly. say you take a picture of them and you want to use it, but before you use it, you go to them and say, is it okay if we use this picture? Did you think of that option?
Well, I assume that there's probably gonna be a lot of pictures being taken,
Yeah.
so,
It's always good to get consent first before you take a photo and then go get consent.
Yeah.
It's a liability thing.
Yeah.
Most organizations, when, require you to actually sign off on photo consents, but to Jenna's point, if you say, hey, I want to opt out of it, I think the town does have to respect that. But I think at least getting that out there is the first thing. And to your point, John, if people are out there taking photos, then they should be aware that if they don't want their photo taken, or if the parents don't want their photo taken in that case, I mean, I'm pretty sure Reading Rec does something similar.
yep, we do.
Most of the organizations that I've
Yeah,
been
we have
involved in with our son would have the same thing and say, hey, you have to have an authorization. So I don't think it's an unusual thing, John.
Okay.
And
We
we
do-
currently,
And my two questions on the other form, for the,
John, can I,
for using
what
the equipment,
what form was that you just referred to?
the membership form.
Yeah, so I can
Sure.
actually,
It's part of the packet.
Part of the
I
I think
packet?
it's
Um,
For the
3.
membership, yeah.
So the
Is it
question
3 or 4?
that I have on the gym form,
Yes.
did you consider having the person have to have their doctor sign off before they use the equipment? And that it be mandatory that they get trained on the use of the equipment? I'm just bringing this up because I just signed up to use the equipment in Wilmington. And I had to have my doctor give the okay, and I have to be trained by a trainer. I see in this thing, it says you have the option to be trained by a trainer. I think it should be mandatory.
Yeah, and we did actually have it as mandatory to begin with. But then there was some brainstorming going on that some people, because it won't just be 60+ using the equipment, and some 60+ folks can go into the gym and be fine and know what to do and know the equipment. So, would people be upset if they had to go through a mandatory orientation, and then would we have trouble getting someone, a personal trainer, for example, to come in and give them the rundown of the equipment and how to use it? So, but we did start off like that.
Hey, what about the
So-
doctor's form? What was your thoughts on not having that?
So on the form, the fitness equipment room form, there is something that says that at any time we can ask someone to go through an orientation or be required to tell them that they need a doctor's note to continue. So if we see like someone falls, God forbid, or someone looks a little shaky on the equipment, we have the right as staff members to tell them like, hey, you need to do an
Yeah, well,
orientation
let me
or
get
get a
someone look at
doctor's
me and
note.
handed me the doctor's form right away. Didn't think about it.
and we,
You
and we-
have to also think that this would be, I mean, I would be insulted if someone handed me that.
Right.
I'm in the 60+ category,
Right.
so, it's kind of either way.
But I just think it's maybe a little bit more protection for the town. That
Well-
that the doctor has said it's okay.
I mean, I can't remember, sorry. Is there language in there sort of suggesting this point that you're taking personal responsibility for your health?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I thought that's,
we have the reliability release form like we do now at the center.
Right.
If you sign up, you sign it on the computer. We don't do doctor's forms, but even at the center now, if we know someone has gotten outside of the center, if they get injured or something, I have requested a form from the doctor before they return, just to make sure they are good to return.
Jenna, did you say you have a current photography policy in
Yeah.
rec?
Yeah,
already?
there's like a general photo consent form
Yeah,
and
okay, that's what I
liability.
figured.
Yeah.
And we have that at the PSC now too. If you sign up on the form that gives the emergency contact, if you read down below, it says the same thing,
Yeah.
to give us permission to take your photo. Also, I think the staff, I think Jenna would agree too, a lot of times, like if I take photos of a group, I usually ask too. I let them know before I take a photo, like 99% of the time. I'm like, hey, it's okay, I'm gonna take a photo. If you'd like to opt out, if you don't mind, maybe stepping to the side, or I'll try to get a different angle.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure with some things in rec, when you got a whole team out there and stuff, it's much harder to do that kind of a thing, but you have the general policy already, so.
Back on the training people, I've belonged to a lot of Ys over the years and almost everyone has required that you go to a equipment orientation before you're allowed to use it. It's 20 minutes and a really nice person makes you feel like you know how to do all this stuff. But I always learn something. You know, what I mean, there's a right way to hold your arms, there's a right way to hold your legs, there's a right way to set settings, and there's a wrong way, and you're not gonna guess it on your own. So I see it as a free, and it's free. So I see it as a free benefit of Y membership and common sense in terms of safety. The doctor's note, I think, is more discretionary. I mean, someone could be 15, you know, it happens every year. We hear some poor
Mhm.
15-year-old falls over dead on the football field. No one knows. How would you know? You know, how would they know? They don't. But the learning how to use equipment that you're gonna sit and use that could be dangerous if you used it wrong is just common sense.
And are you proposing in your form or your policy that this applies to all age groups?
Yes,
Whoever wants to use the fitness room should go through this orientation.
yes, yeah,
18 plus.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that 18+, and I don't know if this is where we're opening up for discussion or not.
Which
But
18 plus, it's in a lot of places.
It's all over the
I
place.
know,
And I'm curious why we're doing 18,
as opposed to what?
maybe 21?
Oh, okay. Because we've also got 0 to 3 and something else in
Oh, yeah, for
places.
the walking track and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah,
Well, and that's up for
so
discussion.
that's another issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you questioning, what are you questioning specifically about the
Well,
age?
I'm just questioning in terms
Cause like that's like
of-
when you're an adult is 18+, so that's kind of what we went by.
Okay.
Right.
It is, when you're an adult, you're considered an adult at 18.
I think so.
I
I think you're a legal
Yeah.
adult,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can move out of your house on your own.
Should we ask
So
Anna?
you can sign for yourself and everything at that
Okay.
point.
your parents can no longer
Yeah.
have any to make decisions or
That's
anything.
right. They can't talk to you.
It's too early. It should be 21.
35?
Maybe, yeah.
So does that mean that youth at 15 to 17.11 can't just go into the workout room on their own?
Right,
Okay. They got their own thing going on.
yeah, they wouldn't be allowed inside that room at all.
I do have a question, John. You signed up for the fitness room in Wellington. Did it cost?
No.
See, that's the other thing I'm wondering about too.
It's the
Is
same question.
the
Yeah.
cost, will it be no cost for the 60+? And it's under 60 that it will cost?
I think that's what should be proposed on the table personally.
Yeah.
That in Reading,
Mhm.
it should be free for 60+ or a minimal payment. Or you're gonna have to go by income guidelines. Because there's a lot of people that can't afford $60 a year even to do this. To some of us, maybe that's not very much, but we really have to figure out how that's going to affect the seniors who might want to have an option to use the gym. My inclination, I mean, this whole building replaces the senior center, so my inclination is that becomes a freebie for the 60+ population.
And on that line, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say on that line, I would like to understand, I'm thinking, I'm not criticizing it, I'd just like to understand it about why we need fees for things.
Sure.
I mean, the building itself is gonna be paid for because we're borrowing the money. Poof, it's paid for.
Right,
Staff, I keep hearing we're not at the moment expecting more staff, so standard budget item, poof, paid for. I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit of equipment and stuff, and there'll be heating and water that would be more because it's a bigger building, but I'd like to understand how that translates into which things do we really need to be charging a fee for and not. And why is that necessarily, and I'm not saying it's bad, I just don't understand yet. Why is that the burden of the people who choose to use it as opposed to you know, roads I'm never gonna drive on, well, I still have to pay taxes that are gonna make sure there are good roads, and schools my kids that I don't have and never gonna set foot in, I pay for, because it's a community asset that people can choose or not choose, and I just would like to understand how that translates into what we're thinking about charging for or not. And plus, remember, I know the ARPA money's gonna go away, but in the past, the COA has subsidized a lot of activities, and I would expect that will start again. I would just like to understand the finances.
Well, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, you know.
Keep in mind, we've only been using ARPA up until 11 months ago, essentially last November. We've always charged, the PSC has always had fees, especially for like exercise classes. So if you've gone, you know, it was about $5. You go to like Zumba or line dancing or, so all the exercises before were fees.
Okay,
Yep, and it was only last November is when we went to a free, because of the ARPA we had.
Was that one?
Yeah.
okay.
So it hasn't, so keep in mind, it's been just less than a year where we
Okay.
haven't had fees.
As I said, I
Mostly-
just wanna understand the picture.
mostly
I'm not
for
criticizing it, I just wanna
exercise.
understand it.
Before the pandemic, when we had elder services, there is always a suggested donation fee for community lunches.
Right.
But then on top of that, we kept a lot of the things like the trust funds, like birthday lunch.
Yeah.
Trust funds kind of covered the movie and pizza,
Yeah.
and then some other activities throughout. And then we kind of compensated with operation.
And special things,
so-
anything that brought entertainment in, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yep.
It's an agent usually,
So
you know,
I just want to make sure we all know that there has pretty much always been a fee for not everything,
right,
but for a good portion.
right. Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
Right, well, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I just need to understand that.
And we'll have,
Especially when we're getting into the rec things that I have no knowledge of what that's been about.
and
I know
after,
stuff
and the
that-
ARPA's kind of running out, so we are gonna have to go back to those fees. I know we've discussed this, and we're getting to that. We're getting
Right.
close to that again, where there will be some fees.
Okay, but when we get to the things like the exercise room, those were, I think, a little bit more substantial fees, I think. Yeah, and since, especially since we don't have trainers that will be there to
Well, and
help them.
that's the other thing too, so a lot of other like some communities don't charge, some communities do charge.
Right,
Needham, I thought had a really cool model when we visited there, that's a senior center only. But they charged the fees and then they took all the fees, they went into a revolving fund, and then they did hire personal trainers to come in and offset that. So there was someone that was able to go in and monitor the room and assist people on a day-to-day basis. And they have it until this day, you know, they have people come in and monitor that room. The other thing with the fee-based was that we know that if something's free, everyone's gonna go. So it's kind of like a control thing too, because the room's not all that big. But I think to Nancy's point, I don't necessarily think like 60 plus free and the rest of folks have to pay, although that's an option for sure. But I think maybe like a discount, you know, if a regular, if a senior discount, 60 plus discount.
The income, you know, the
Yeah.
income guidelines apply to that.
Yeah, and we do need to generate some type of, you know, revenue in the building to offset costs, you know, because there's gonna be cleaning equipment in there, there's gonna be paper towels, they're gonna have to be inspections. If people do want an orientation, we have to pay the trainer. So there are different fees that
Equipment
are,
breaks.
yeah,
right.
that have to be offset by
Jean,
something.
I see you, but first Kate and then you, okay, Jean?
I'm
Okay.
fine, that's
What-
fine.
Chris, to your point that there used to be fees, which I remember, I didn't realize the switchover had been so recent.
Yeah, we've
Um,
a lot of things we've
Did
been
you
paying
see
for
any
longer than that.
change in participation? Because let me just say to Nancy's point earlier, when I used to look and see what the fees were, and they were small, but when I would think about them, okay, so if I want to do, say, like 2 exercises classes a week, and then in a month, that means this much coming out of my budget. I used to wonder what then was the impact of that on some of our seniors? Again, we've got to ride demographic spread of income in our seniors, and because we don't have more fine-tuned data around that point, I don't know how many we're affecting with even a small charge, and I wondered, just from this experience, did you see a change in attendance?
I mean, that's a challenging question because.
That's Emily. Emily, can you mute yourself?
She's picking up somebody.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging question to answer. I see what you're saying. Of course, if you go free, numbers always tend to go up a little bit. That's just, I mean,
Mhm.
common sense. Now, when we start to charge, what's going to happen?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting.
We're gonna know a lot.
Mhm.
You know, my guess is things will dip a little bit. But at the same time, you know, we run a very good system and programmings and a senior center that people really like to be there at. So you know, do I think it's going to dip down to pre-pandemic levels? I think not as much. I think it'll dip a little bit, but I don't think it's, you know, and I could be totally off on this. I mean, we start to, you know, you never know until you start charging again.
Well, and the other question isn't just how many, it's who. Did we change
Yeah.
the people?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see a change in the people, again, then that tells us something.
Yep.
And I don't know, again, if you can see that enough to be able to comment on it.
No.
You'd have to be looking at the exercise classes and see who's there and who's not and stuff,
Yeah.
but I was just curious.
I think that's very important, though, that we track that information, and it should be part of the process.
Yeah.
So that, and a lot of that can be done because we do have the passes now,
Yeah.
and people do use them to plug to the computer. So I think it's very important to track that, because it is a piece of information we don't have now. We might have it visually, but we don't have hard, concrete data.
We do.
Yeah.
Wait,
We do.
well,
It
if you look,
exists, he just doesn't have it off.
well, if you look at, we're gonna know really quickly, if you look at the PSC report, health, wellness and fitness. You know, if there's a dip, we're going to be, I can easily try, I mean, we have hard facts right here, like if that number goes down when we start to charge. More than likely that, you know, there's a correlation.
That would be
Yes,
really
right.
good
Yeah.
because I haven't seen that information and they're in that report. So.
No, it's been in every,
Oh, it just has overall by month and combined.
yeah, but this is like, yeah, I mean, you could narrow it down,
Yeah,
but this is like all the fitness classes.
yeah, and that's what I think.
But I
need
mean,
to
we
do,
could-
and we need
We
to,
could break it down further if you
we
wanted
need to break it down further, we
Okay,
need to
I
look
see
at
what
it.
Jean had. Jean, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, okay. A couple of questions. I was reviewing the registration form, the draft one, and we're talking about 18 and plus registering for this new facility. But I have not, and maybe you're going to be putting it in, is there a time frame for those that are younger than 60 plus to come and use this facility? Or is this going to be from 8 on?
Yeah, so. That's me, sorry. So if there is a program that's a child signs up for, their parent signs up for, obviously they'll be in the building at that time. Otherwise, they would only probably be in the building when there's like open gym time, or if they're going to walk the track with their parent, or go to an intergenerational program, something along those lines.
But I thought there was at one point, it was brought up several times with this A and B concept that we first started out with, that the seniors would be from 8:30, say, to 3, and then opened up to the other resident age bracket.
All ages.
Yeah, no, that wasn't presented at town meeting.
We heard
Yeah,
that.
there was
But-
We heard that.
No, there was, we've
Yes.
discussed this several times about the designated hours versus the designated spaces, and there was never a commitment to make it 60 plus only from 8 o'clock to 3
I
o'clock.
guess we'll have to listen.
So
to-
basically,
Because we
so
heard it.
if I may, so then this is really not going to be just an A-B concept with the senior center, am I right?
According to the town, that's what it sounds like,
Well,
correct?
there'll be designated spaces for the 60+ which we have talked about before.
Which,
And that will be presented next month in the programming schedule and the programming policy. And there'll be priority programming in the rest of the rooms as well. So if
Okay.
there's a certain day and Chris needs every single room in recal from 8 to 3 for the 60+, then that's what will happen.
All right, but then
And
we're,
staff will work together.
but we're speaking right now, you previously that you were mentioning about the fitness room and equipment. There was one point I thought for the equipment, we were probably only gonna be starting out with 3 pieces of equipment. So if we up the budget to acquire additional equipment,
Oh, I don't remember only being
Yeah,
budgeted for
yes,
3 pieces of
yes.
equipment.
And
but-
it was
Joel
less
said it at a
than-
PBC
Yes, he
meeting that
did.
there were 2 pieces of
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah,
We were all there.
Interesting. Okay, well, I can double check on that tomorrow, but yeah,
Yeah, but-
that's not my impression. My impression is
Yeah,
that
we
there'll
were-
be a couple bikes, a couple ellipticals, a couple
no,
treadmills.
no,
we were
no.
estimated, but they're not in the budget.
Yep, okay, I'll
So
look
my-
into
my-
that tomorrow.
That's what
I
we
think we
thought.
should, we should stay on
Yeah.
the task though.
If I may, my concern was twofold with the registration form. I think something needs to be stated within the document that if the facility is used by the seniors, that those people that signed up and paid a fee, that they think they can come at any time, that needs to be clarified.
Well, people aren't paying a fee to come into the building. They're paying a fee for the programming and for a fitness equipment room.
Well,
So if someone comes in and gets a recal key tag, they can come in and walk the walking track at any time. They can come in during open gym hours, things like that. And then all the other programming fees, they'll have to sign up for the actual program.
And you're
To be
counting
in
the
the building.
fitness room as a sort of program.
So that'll be a separate
That has a
fee. People
separate
can
fee,
go in at
right.
any time. Yeah.
Because there's
Is there a consideration though that the fitness track be programmed at certain times just for the senior community? I mean, when you've got an 18-year-old on that track and a 35-year-old on that track, and then I saw strollers being allowed on the track.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty dangerous and
Yeah. Wouldn't say dangerous, but yes, if you look at the walking policy, it does state that the track will be closed for the community during designated programming time. So it could be rec that runs a program on the track. It could be 60+ walking club that has a designated program from 9 to 11 on a Monday. And then we would post it.
So one of the things that I think the Council on Aging would be looking for is dedicated programs on the track that people can then walk into and use without,
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked about that, yep, and that's on the policy too. We agree.
There'll also be things like, I mean, remember for seniors, what we have is the gathering place for seniors. That doesn't mean there's a program. That's
true.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Particularly now that we're gonna have a lounge. And other, like the art room, the thought was people would keep it locked and people could go in when they wanted and work on their work independent of classes. So
Sure.
that's not program time. So this is just
mm,
sign in with your tag and go where you want and do what you want.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, that's my understanding too,
okay.
that someone who's
So-
60+ can come in and scan their key tag and go hang out in the lounge.
Right.
Because that's
Or
part of
go
the
up-
dedicated senior.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
right.
And and it'll be designated on the programming schedule too, that it's drop-in art. Like you can't just come in on any day you want, and if
No,
it's
no.
open, go sit. It'll be like drop-in art, because we'll know that the room's
okay, so
open.
that will be interesting to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you put that together,
Yeah.
the programming, because that's really, really important for
Yeah.
the senior community.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the lounge is
We agree with
gonna
that.
be drop-in lounge time. It's gonna be anytime you want.
Yes.
Right,
Yep,
okay.
yep,
Yeah.
agreed.
Okay.
But also, the
Yeah.
lounge will be the space where if you have an activity, that's where when all the seniors come an hour early, to wait, they can go wait in the lounge. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's one of our biggest issues now
And,
is,
and I would hope that as you see in, Wilmington and other
There's
places.
some over there for tomorrow morning waiting right
The
now.
multipurpose
That's right.
room, when it's not, this is another place, that people go in and 5 people who want to knit will just grab their coffee, go in, and then they'll sit in their multipurpose room and they'll knit away, and it's one of the
Sure.
things that makes it spontaneous and
Right.
Yeah.
welcoming for
Yeah.
people.
Right.
we saw that in North Andover when
Yeah.
we visited, they were
Yeah, but again,
groups
it's,
playing some games.
right,
Yeah,
but again,
yeah,
it's not programmed time.
Right.
Right.
The building, the staff, no one knows it's about to happen, it's just, this was.
Right, and there will be some rooms that are like that in
Okay.
nature,
Okay.
but like
Okay.
probably not every room.
No, not every room
Yeah.
necessarily, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
There's, depending on what the increase is in participation, you might find that more of these rooms
Yeah.
are being for just such that activity.
Yeah.
And, I just think it's really important to, program that in, so it blocks at times, like the puzzles right now. I don't know where that happens, upstairs in the-
Upstairs in the kitchen.
Okay, so the puzzles happen, so that means that a lot of the rooms, and we really only have 4 rooms.
Dedicated.
Dedicated rooms, we're not calling the gym a dedicated space, and we're not calling the kitchen area a dedicated space. We never really were, we were talking about those 4 rooms, which one now is a fitness room for all ages, so we're kind of going
How did-
backwards
How did
here.
that become
I-
fitness for all ages? I didn't
No, the
see that.
fitness equipment room,
The fitness equipment.
yeah,
Oh.
that's always been for
Yeah.
all ages.
But there's
it
no-
wasn't at
no,
one
it
point. We
wasn't.
were told that
At
children
town
would not be
meeting it
allowed.
was.
Town meeting is not the all being everything, it's one of many presentations.
And if
Questions come up
we
many
had known that,
times.
we might have stood up and
Said
said
no.
some things.
Can I just point out
Okay.
sandwich, sandwich pretty much restricts it to 18 and over. And, well, actually, no, all ages are welcome, but youth under 18 must be supervised by an adult. So we've
Yeah,
got
in the gym,
No, it's
Yeah,
in
in
the
the gym.
gym and on
Yeah.
the walking
yeah,
track.
and we have that on the walking
I
track
didn't see
policy.
them supervised, I saw
Huh.
different language, I saw something about a responsible adult being there, that doesn't mean they're being supervised.
Yeah,
And
there is.
over 15 in one place, they can be independent. In
Let
one-
me open up the indoor walking track policy here really
Alright.
quick,
Is it
because
all-
that's something that's on there. I don't think the gym has a associated policy.
Okay,
but I assume that we would-
There's over 15 on something, I don't remember which one.
Yeah, ages 15 plus may use a track independently. Hold on, let me share it. Am I still on the Zoom? Yeah. Hold on a sec. Where's my Zoom? Okay, there I am. Let's pull this up.
I think this is all new for everybody and really putting, really discussing this. And I think the operations plan that will be released next month is going to be a much lengthier discussion, but I think we
We'll
really
get
need,
into the programs.
yes, because we have different understandings as a COA than town does.
I think it would be helpful for a number of us to, I mean, you've had months to work on this and you've done a great job, you've gone a long way. I'm not criticizing, we're just trying to understand and suggest the discussion. But I think afterwards we should need to take some time to digest what we're hearing here, because there are some surprises.
Sure.
And write it up
Yeah.
and share it then.
And I do want to encourage people to look at town meeting again too. And if there's certain points in the presentation where you think something was said that is different from what is in here, please point it out. Send us a link, send us the time. Because we do have to pay attention to what we presented to the public.
But that's only one
Because
setting
this is
which
what
you've
people
done.
voted on in our community.
Well,
So
no,
we,
that's-
They voted on a.
so things can be flexible and programming can be flexible and things like that, but designated hours and things like that, that's where you get into a slippery slope. And you really do just have to pay attention to,
Let's go back and look at it, but
So-
it's not just.
but here's the
county.
walking track policy.
Yep.
So the track is free of charge. We do have a non-resident fee that we can implement. And 0 to 12 must be accompanied by an adult to walk the track. Ages 13 and 14 may use the track independently, but an adult must be in the building. So, if like
That
mom
sounds
is,
13.
at Zumba or something,
That's not
but their
supervised.
child
No.
wants to walk the track.
They're not supervised,
And
Yeah.
then age 15 plus may use the track independently.
and they're not supervised. I think that, I know you like Sandwich, I would revisit Sandwich, I think they have a lot of good policies.
I did use a lot of sandwich, but
I know, I
you
can see
can't,
it.
you
Anyway,
can't,
It's a suggestion, we can
but
talk about it.
these particular ages, I didn't. That was something that we went over as a group. So, and I looked at multiple other different places, like even across the country and what they do.
But what it comes down to is we've got a facility that we have promised the community is priority for seniors. We've been told on numerous meetings that there isn't children's programming. It's come up many times. I don't know that you said
I
at the
don't
town
agree with
meeting,
that.
but we'll
I
find you the
don't agree with
tapes.
that.
It has been said
That
to
there
us
wouldn't be
many
children's
times.
programming.
It's been said to us.
Yeah.
And we need to understand what we're doing. I bet there's not another community center in the state that has priority for senior programming. There are lots of community centers that include some senior programming, maybe a lot, but it's not priority. It's a different situation. And we need to make sure that what we promise the town, which is that we get priority, is what's happening. And I think the
And we
unease
feel
is coming
strongly
with that.
because we are the representation
Yeah.
of the 60+ community. We
Yeah.
are, we are the.
And as someone said earlier, I forget it was Nancy or who, I mean, this building is replacing the current
Yes,
senior
yes.
center. So
Yes.
that in and of itself carries a message
Right,
about what the
yes.
purpose of this building is. Yes, it's larger than that.
Yes.
But the spirit of the fact that this was presented as a replacement for is an important one to keep in mind.
And it's not only a replacement for, it's solving the problem that was identified
Yeah.
12 years ago now,
Yes,
that it's not nearly big enough, that there's a much bigger demand than what we are able to meet with that building.
So do you have an
And it's
issue?
fixing that, hopefully.
So I think too, instead of like getting like way too into the weeds right now, is that you focus on what you don't like about those ages and what you would like to change about those ages specifically. Like, are you saying that you just want it to be 18 plus? Are you saying like, is it just the designated programming for the 60 plus at certain
Personally, what
times?
I'm saying is I wanna make sure we've taken care of number one on the business, which is making sure that the priority is there throughout the building to meet the need of seniors. What happens beyond that, well, to my mind, they're welcome. I'm a
So,
little concerned about the younger kids. I think having a parent somewhere in the building is very different from being in the
yes,
room.
yes,
I don't think
yes.
it's supervised, and I saw Sandwich and I said, yes, I'm not crazy, supervised.
I think that's
I
like,
mean,
but I think we're getting a little off topic here, just
Yes,
like
we
Jenna
are.
said. Like, let's just take, we keep going down into the weeds a little bit. Let's just, if we look at this, let's like write down what our concerns are with,
We will,
yeah, and
we will,
then present them.
we will,
Um,
we will.
So tonight we especially address membership, fitness room and rentals. And we started the conversation about those operations. But next month is when the operations plan will be,
Programming,
for programming will be shared with us.
right.
If we can get that more than a couple days ahead of time, so really have time. to
that
do
would be
digest
fabulous.
that,
I
that would be great.
one other just
Wait.
concept, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask one question, because I'm a little confused now with what I've heard. So I'm trying to remember if in the discussion of the fitness room and the track, at the moment, you're saying the plan is not to have any dedicated hours in those two spaces where the hours would be dedicated to 60 plus. Am I hearing that right? And-
so,
It would have to be like a program.
Right, but at the moment, that's not something you've decided on. Chris could put that forward
So-
as a
so-
program then.
We will do programs, like, we'll probably do, I don't know what it's gonna be, I'm just gonna throw an example, like
The
maybe a.
puzzle.
Like the puzzle.
Group.
What we're gonna probably do a schedule, be like Monday, Wednesday and Fridays from 9 to, I'm just saying 11. You know, senior walking, I mean, it could be like 8 to 10, whatever, or 9. You know, we'll schedule that in, so we have dedicated space, particular to the weight room, the track,
Okay,
in those two,
so that's how it would be dealt with,
Yeah.
as a programming thing. Okay,
Correct,
that's what I
yeah.
was trying to get clear.
yeah.
But it could be a free form program.
Right, it
and
could
not
just be, this is
necessarily
senior
a Zumba
fitness and the
class.
fitness room is reserved.
And, like, just like anything else we do now, we'll revisit it. Like, it's like the puzzles, you know what? We tried one thing, numbers were a little off, and we're like, you know what? People are talking about puzzles. We're gonna throw puzzles in there. And we're gonna program
Coming
for what?
to the puzzles?
Yeah, we have like 4 or 6 sometimes.
Do you need more?
No, we have a lot of puzzles.
Yeah, everybody was like,
But,
and
yeah.
to finish my only comment was, when I was trying to get that clear in my head is, I do think there could be an issue if it's not separate. I like kids, I hang out with a lot of kids. 13 and 14-year-olds in hordes, in groups, and a group is 2 or more, can get a little unruly. So like Marilyn, I'm a little uncomfortable saying they could be up on the track by themselves, as long as an adult is in the building. If it was during a time where there would be a lot of seniors using it, that's my only comment. I
Yeah.
do think that language, and depending upon how you're separating the ages, is gonna make a big difference when we see the final plan.
We talked about that too, because during the school year, there won't be that problem because kids will be in school.
Holidays
during-
and school vacation.
I'm
Right.
getting there, but when school vacations roll around and summers roll around, we see what happens, and then if we notice that it's like infiltrated with kids all the time, because a lot of the kids in the summer, they go to summer camps. They go away, they do a lot of things, so we're not gonna be running our summer camp at Recal. It's not big enough actually, so like the summer camp will still stay where it is, and so, but if we do notice that there's a problem and we need to do those designated times or hours or specific programs a little bit, tighten it up, then we'll do that and we'll revisit it.
And lessons learned from what
Yeah.
happened in Lexington.
You know, we're gonna,
So.
we're gonna be looking at all these policies. I think it's good. It seems like tonight, your big concern is just the age, which is good. I mean, well, there's more, but one of the big,
Oh.
the age like on the track. I'm just saying as a,
It's an
you know, example.
It's an
of-
example.
But it seems
It's
to
not
be
the
a
biggest show
concern
up.
that we can talk about.
Jean, last comment?
I do want to make a last comment. I thought we covered a lot of good topics this evening. But it was mentioned about town meeting, but I'm also going to mention that when the town residents voted on the ballot, it said senior center recal, and that's what was voted. So I'm really concerned that we cannot forget, being a council on aging board member, I'm advocating for the seniors. And that's all I'm going to say, and thank you.
Thank you,
And
that's a good final comment.
I just went back to the presentation from last week too, last month rather, and we did go over the different spaces and all of those things. You know, the community access to the indoor track, the fitness equipment room, all of those things, so,
Just because we've seen it doesn't mean we've agreed.
Right,
We're just
right.
getting
I
excited
know.
on all these
I-
things.
I would say
we're
yes,
just
we-
reiterating what has been presented in the past.
At times.
But I
in
think
that
we're being
meeting.
open to what's being
So,
presented,
yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that
Right.
we are in
Signing off
agreement,
on it.
because we're waiting to see, we
Right.
The
wanna,
whole thing.
yeah, we wanna see
And it-
what's being proposed.
Right.
At last meeting, things were being, nothing was officially proposed.
Right. And it's not that my hair in the back of my neck goes up when I hear someone saying something like, tell me what you don't like about the children being there. We love children. That's not the issue. It's just making sure that we're first order of business is we're finally in this town taking care of what the seniors need. And if we can then share the space with whoever wants, more power to us. But first is taking care of what the seniors need. And I have one last, can I put one quick one? The way we're talking about the registration process going, it felt to me, and again, maybe it's just because you've only done the family one and you haven't done the individual one yet, but a really important part of what is offered in this building is social services for the entire community. I don't see those people as necessarily having a membership tag. This is someone that realized,
For the veterans.
or the veterans, they did away with SNAP, it's gone, and I've got one can of peas left, I need help. These are people who are gonna be walking in for social services, and we had talked in early discussions about 2 separate entry takers at the same desk, and I think that Sandwich was the example again, or Randolph. Because within Elder and Human Services, because you're the one that manages it, there were people who are not of the same intent of why they're there as someone who comes to participate in a program. There are people who are coming for services.
But we do, just so you do know though,
Yeah,
currently, if they come for services or
yeah,
programs, we put them in the system,
Right,
the same
okay.
system. They get registered.
they still get.
They get registered because
just
we
walk
have to
in,
take
yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
There's a whole process. So pretty much right now, anyone that comes into PSC,
Okay,
like 99% of the time, we put their information in.
okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
But it's still, that's a process. That's not just
Yeah.
to wave my tag like everybody else and I'm in the building. It's a separate process. It's a separate line with a different pace, a different purpose.
So that's why we have confidential, files, but
I
they
understand.
all get put in the same way.
But
They
I'm
can,
talking
yeah, I
about
know,
this.
I know, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yes.
they all get put in at the front desk. But then they go to wherever they need to
I understand.
and
But when
so they
you've
can
got
proceed.
30 people coming in to go to gym and they've got their tags and they want to come in and go pump, 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 and off they go. That's a different pace of the line. It's a different group atmosphere from people who are like, am I in the right place? I'm gonna need help. I'm not one of those people that's running through with little tags. And the notion was 2 separate ticket takers, for lack of another word.
Well,
that-
there'll be a place where you can go separately to swipe a card and
Yeah.
check in.
Yeah,
And if you're there to sign up, you go to right next to a separate line or whatever you want to call it. So the person at the front desk can sign
and
sign
get you
you up.
registered.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Okay.
you register.
All right, okay.
Yes,
I wasn't.
just like we do now. You
Okay.
come in, if you're already signed up, you swipe at the computer right inside the door. If
Right.
you're new, you walk around the corner to the front desk and we have you fill out papers.
All right, I wasn't feeling it in what I read. I just wanted to make sure we've got these distinct parts.
And this
of-
is getting down in the weeds
Yeah.
again.
Let's
But
hold
if
on,
I'm-
hold on.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
Should we,
Yeah.
come on, Karen?
yes,
Karen,
Okay.
can I just make one comment?
yes.
I'm sorry, I just want to make one comment, just setting expectations for the programming. And I think I said this at the last meeting, but I just want it to be clear. We're not gonna be here next month or whenever it is with a programming policy that tells you exactly what's gonna be in the center at each and every time. That is not the intent of the programming policy. The intent of the programming policy is to lay out how do things get organized and prioritized and what is the responsibility? Is there a group that's gonna be doing that? How is that all gonna get structured?
That's good.
So I
That's good.
just wanna make sure it's clear
That's
because I don't
great.
wanna set the wrong expectation that we're gonna show up with a schedule and you guys are gonna look at it and say, this is it. No, sorry, guys, we're not doing that.
No, this
So-
this will get to the heart of a lot of. what
Yeah, no,
we're
I think it will, and obviously from my view, having gone through it, that's really what's gonna dictate how the center is used.
Right.
I will make this one comment, having been involved in RECAL from almost the start, we have discussed generated hours, but we threw that off the table from day one. I can attest to that. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't, and we've always talked about prioritizing the senior needs in all of this. And I think that's that has to come through in the programming
Yes,
aspect. So I
yes,
think that's
yes.
really
Okay.
what you guys are struggling with. And I,
Forward to what you're gonna tell us next
Yeah.
month.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, John.
All right, ready to move on?
Okay, yes. Elder and Human Services report and the trust fund report.
Yes, all right, so we had a great September. As you can see, you can look down through there. And just to clarify, if you look at these categories on the left, you know, these are just basic categories to keep overall statistics. Each of these categories can be opened up and you can see like all the programs underneath of them. So, you know, if it's like under health, wellness and fitness, if, you know, you go in there under health and wellness, fitness category, and you'll see Zumba and yoga and chair yoga and strength and balance and go on and so forth. So, you know, just so you know, those can be broken up. And yeah, we had a great September. You know, as always, our goal is to hit 3,000 or plus interactions a month. So we were at 3,048, and that's duplicated. But you know, that's we're exactly where we need to be and what we can do with the Pleasant Street Center. Great volunteers on the bottom. Janet's doing a great job. On the second page, you can see the wait list. So we had Labor Day lunch. We had a wait list, beginner line dancing, not loon dancing, line dancing, sorry. Had 6, you know, fiber arts. You can see our wait list right there. We officially got word from Brad Jones. He is doing the Thanksgiving dinner. I just the other day heard from him. So they're gonna do it on Friday, November 21st from 12:30 to 3:30, but it will not be at Hillview this time. It'll be at Teresa's Prime in North Reading. And the shift for us was, we typically do it on a Saturday, but Teresa's couldn't do a Saturday, that Saturday. So they bumped us to a Friday and North Reading too, I think is doing theirs on Sunday. So that's the only shift this year is rather than a Saturday, it's on a Friday afternoon for us. So we're excited. It's one of those events all the seniors always ask us about, and wondering if it's going to happen, and they really enjoy it. So Carrie has been working hard. She has a lot of things coming up during the holiday season. Carrie, our case manager, so she's organizing a little giving tree that'll be outside of her office. Not a big one. It's just going to be a little giving tree of like 10, maybe 12 little things. Carrie started a coffee talk with Carrie today, this morning at 10. It was pretty successful. A lot of people. Don't get started, John. You know, you never know where the conversation goes with that.
That's what I wondered. Is it structured or is it just questions and answers?
You know, they're always supposed to be structured in a certain way, but you know,
Takes a left.
it takes a lot of times it takes a really quick left turn, and you know, it just goes down a lot of rabbit holes, and
Was that you,
you know,
If you remember,
you know.
a thing I expressed at town meeting, I mean, at Council on Aging a few years ago, when there were 15 of us, and I was the only guy, how hard it was to get a word in edgewise. There were 11 women and me.
John left early.
His Tom's here now, right?
John left a little
You
early.
need to find some other guys to drag with you.
We have men's group Wednesday, so come back to men's group. I mean, it was a nice group. It's great that Carrie's doing it. People got excited about it. It's a great number. You know, we'll see how it goes, you know, in the next couple of months. A lot of times you do it, a lot of people, and then it drops off. So we'll see. But, you know, I know people signed up. Regardless of it, if it takes a left turn and then another left and then a zigzag.
Is that a weekly thing then now or?
I think it's a monthly.
Okay.
I think it's a monthly. Next one's in November. But it was good. So kudos to Carrie for getting that started. And Carrie's also starting to work a lot on Adopt a Family. So there'll be a food basket downstairs at the PSC, you know, collecting food for Adopt a Family. So just like we did last year, there'll be a bin. It's not out yet, so please don't show up tomorrow. But if you want to donate, if anyone wants to donate some food, they can drop it off there in the box. Please, please, please check the date on the food. We prefer nothing, you know, from like 2018. You know, it always happens and we always have to go through it. But, please, it shouldn't be expired. So I do ask that. So we had another great month. October is turning out to be another great month. We've had a lot of things. One thing that's really, we're really slammed with right now is our Shine appointments. Open enrollment started, October 15th. I think it was 15th. No, ends on December 7th.
Yeah.
Opened on October 15th. Some letter went out about a week and a half ago to, I think, every older adult in the world. And all of a sudden, we just got calls about a week and a half. It was on a Friday I had, and then Linda on the Monday got another 26 calls on the answers.
Blue Cross ended one of the
Yeah.
most popular plans.
And yeah.
And we're all
Oh, wow.
told.
And right now we have 48 people on the wait list that we're trying to find. It became a little bit of a mess, and we're, I had Stoneham call me last week saying, hey, we have no slots, Melrose has no slots, and we're working with Elder Services and everything to try to usually get everyone in. We have fantastic volunteer Shine counselors, Joanne Woolridge and Mike F. something, I can't pronounce his last name. They are both fantastic. And this is just a crazy time, and it's just became, so that's the update on Shine. Just to let everyone know, it's just madness, and it'll be madness until December 7th, and my guess, it will be madness afterwards too. We're trying to find a solution for that right now. It's just trying to find 78 slots right now.
Are you aware of all the info sessions that Blue Cross is running to deal with?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
there are videos people can watch, but there are also in-person meetings people can go to.
Yeah,
The library had one.
yeah.
Yeah, but they've got like hundreds of them, and they're all over.
It's
the
like a
state.
tutorial on what, or like a.
I went to
help
one,
session.
I went to one when I first joined Medicare, and went to a bunch of them actually. The Blue Cross one was excellent because they didn't just answer questions about Blue Cross. They also answered questions about Medicare and stuff, and they were extremely well trained, and it's a situation where, 20 people there, 18 will be interested in the same question, so. And
Yeah.
it was back and forth, and they were trying to get people to come, so they're being nice to everybody. And I found it excellent, but there's a I can send you the link if you don't.
There's
know.
always good information, but a lot of the older adults, even sometimes I look at it and I'm like,
It's confusing.
I'm scratching my head a little bit.
It's really
Um,
complicated, yeah.
What's that?
It's
Even with my
complicated.
own
Yeah.
healthcare coverage, it's
Yeah.
very overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, and I have to say, the videos and those things are great. But it doesn't compare to actually getting in with Joanne and Mike, because I have to say they are fantastic at explaining it. They can help them log in and get into the account on the computer and explain it.
They put all your
Um,
medications in, they can tell you
yeah.
exactly what it's gonna
Yep.
cost at which drugstore,
Yeah,
and the whole 9 yards.
yeah, and
Yeah, no, that's the
it's-
best if you can get it.
yeah.
Chris, less volunteers or more people?
Oh, Joanne, is that you?
It is me.
Joanne, I'm talking about you.
No video. But
Oh.
anyway, I just wanted to comment on Marilyn's point about the Blue Cross video. They do in fact do an excellent training session, but I have to say they are biased.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
needs
they want
to
you to
be
be their
a
customer.
very concrete session that is tailored to each individual person. And more times than not, Blue Cross in particular, their prescription drug plans are the least or the most expensive and the least used. So, I want to make sure that Blue Cross, that video, there's no need for people really to see that. It's pretty generic, and as they say, it's biased to Blue Cross business. That's all I have to say.
Joanne, they're also running in-person meetings.
Whatever
It's
she
not-
says is golden.
No,
believe me.
but
Oh, I know, if you get shine, it's absolute gold.
Yeah.
But that's so that's Joanne, who is,
Resource for someone who might not want to.
Yeah,
have it
Thanks
come
about
in.
it. Isn't there a shine cost?
never talk bad about Joanne or my,
I think it's a good, like,
I think
All right.
So,
What's next, Chris?
yeah,
can I just ask you a question? So are there not enough volunteers? Are there, because there are more people? Is that what's happening? Or
well,
do we have the same amount
Jo-
of people? not
Joanne,
enough
correct,
Volunteers.
Joanne, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think because that letter and there was a shift in
Yeah,
the
there's-
insurance,
Yeah,
we just have a lot more because people are trying to figure out what to do.
well, I
A
would,
friend of mine went to sign up to be a Shine counselor, but you have to go anywhere in the state. So it wasn't, she lives in Saugus and was gonna do, but you could be sent to Springfield.
Oh,
So it
wow.
didn't- that's what my understanding when she went to become a Shine counselor.
the
She said-
reason I think for the increase in volume this year is because of the incredible changes in the Medicare Advantage plans. And
Yeah.
also in the prescription drug plans. So many people, unlike any other year, have gotten letters that their Medicare Advantage plan no longer is accepted by their primary care physicians. So there have been significant changes that have, I think, led to the increase in volume, and particularly in the costs as well. Some of the drug plans have gone up $50 a month. They've gone from $100 to $150 premium for a month. But that, as I say, is part of the reason for the increase in volume. In regard to the Shine counselors, each Shine counselor works in a region, and you're assigned to a spot in the region. Ours is Mystic Valley Elder Services. So we can be assigned to any place in the Mystic Valley catchment area, but not Springfield, thank God.
Except for Mike and Joanne, their only region is Reading. And they are not allowed to go out that region at all, ever. Thank you, Joanne, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
As you can see, trust fund report, I printed off the trust funds. We really haven't touched them, which is good. That'll have to change, in the future here. But they've been growing, so you can take a look at those. If anyone has any questions about them, please feel free to reach out to myself. I'm happy to talk, come in, happy to sit down and talk with you about it and go over this budget sheet. I'm sure Jenna's the same way. She's happy to, help answer any questions. But you can kind of take a look at it after
Can we
those.
ask them what they used to, back in the old days, they being the trust people, from the trust board or whatever it is, sorry, trust people. You know who you are. They used to come annually and give an estimate based on the prior few years, a rate of return of what the expected interest would be for the coming fiscal year. And Jane used to use that to budget and plan special events for the whole year. So they'd say, based on what we've got, we think you're gonna have $10,000 in interest this year, give or take. But it gave her a ballpark so planning could be done, because these events don't pop up overnight, as you know. And so it was a tool that the Council on Aging could use to plan, and it was, if you look into some of the background documents related to the trust, it talks about recommending that they have that annual, give us a ballpark of what we've got to work with. That would, I think, be really helpful in helping us to become a more productive Council on Aging, because we've known, and the goal is to spend it. It's intended to go out and do good with it, so.
Could you send us an email or Chris an email with exactly kind of what you just said? And then we'll forward it to Diane.
Okay.
Cause I know that we talked about her coming in and
Yeah.
talking about just the general report.
Right.
But I
This
don't
is
know.
different. This
Yeah,
is the
that's a
same-
little different.
I hadn't heard that, so it's
Yeah.
great information to have.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah.
So many things. That's,
As a
And
reminder,
I'd like to be like a broken record and make the same comment I make every meeting. Why can't we get the same report that comes out of the treasurer's office? It's so much easier to read.
What,
And
with
we're
the
seeing
budget report?
on all the trust funds.
I don't know
What
what
do you-
it looks like.
Yeah, that's what comes out of Munis.
That's what comes out of Munis, so it's like.
But if you go to the treasurer's office and ask for the report on the trust fund, you get a different one that's easier to read. And I brought this, I know I'm a broken record about this, but I just don't see why it doesn't happen.
Nancy's
that-
asked for one that's easier to read. Many of us, we even met with them and asked
that
for an
report-
easier one.
There's like once a year that we give like a report that's a little bit more easy to read, but that's developed by Diane Moravito. Not something that Chris or I could do, because she's
So
a
it's not a-
financial
So
expert.
it's not a standard report that you push the buttons and the dates and book.
No.
Yes, okay.
I have a question, but I don't know how to raise my hand.
Just yell, Ron, just yell.
This newfangled technology, I can't figure it out. So I have a question. I know that there's an open position on the, on that board for the trust fund, an associate position. Would it make sense for someone from our committee to sit on that board as well? Just so that they can attend the meetings and report back, or is that? I'm willing to do that.
Looks like you have some time on your hands, John, Ron.
Yeah,
I think what
not a
that
bad
board-
idea.
What that board is about, is my understanding, is how to invest all the trusts and make as much money out of them. Our thing is different. Ours is how to spend the money they've made. So they're kind of I mean, it's useful information, but it,
Feel free to look into it.
yeah,
Ron.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Because it would be helpful to have the bigger picture.
Yeah, and
Okay.
someone who's
All
a
right,
direct
and
line of
we'll follow
contact to
through.
Diane.
yeah,
Right.
it follows with
Yeah.
Diane and see if she'll give us a report back. PBC update, you want to pass around your information now?
Yeah, this was what I did for this was, and if it doesn't have draft written up here, it says format summary. It should say draft,
Okay.
because this came out of, I copied the narrative from the whole meeting, fed it into ChatGPT, and this is what came out. Yes, there are lots of typo areas which I did not correct. I'm not picking on you, Marilyn. But it's basically there's a couple of things going on here. The CBDC, CBPDC did approve both the Recal and Pickleball project plans, and they granted a waiver for 5 parking spaces. I thought that was important for everybody to know if you didn't. You'll also see in here, there's this reference to 60+ design documents and 90+ design documents. I'm trying to figure that out. I have not seen those documents, although I've been told I've received the documents, but maybe I'm not looking at the right documents, so I will continue to figure that out. It's gotta be me because of the different levels. There are some additional fire and code reviews that are going to need to be done as requested by the fire and building department. The budget overview that Peter did basically said that everything was status quo. We were headed on the right track. And the contractor pre-qualification, both for the contractors, which is the general contractor, as well as the filed sub-bidders from which those general contractors will be able to pull from, is an ongoing process. Pre-qualification is anticipated to be completed by late October. Design and construction updates. There's clearance for plumbing components. Site borings for both pickleball and Recal projects were completed and reports are under review. So basically what this is saying is it's moving forward as expected. They are looking at solar energy options. There's going to be a financial analysis completed within 1 or 2 more months. Operational planning is commencing and will continue, which is great. And they're not, and operations, the permanent building committee is not too concerned about the
Right.
intricacies of operations, but they're glad to see that that's all happening. Outreach and communications. I guess at the last meeting, I wasn't at this meeting on October 8th, but at the last meeting, they did talk about use of the website for some things. It would be great if that could be brought back and some updates be done to that, because there is a following. Go ahead, Jenna.
We had a meeting this week and I think it was based on something that you sent to Jane about this very thing, outreach and more updates and what's happened since town meeting. So under improving Reading on the town website, there is an update.
Yay.
So
Alrighty. And upcoming, the next meeting was scheduled for November 5th. And then another one on December 3rd. We do have this finance committee, subcommittee review, and that's gonna happen before the November meeting. And then they voted to adjourn. But if anybody who's online wants to see this, just let me know. There are typos. It's not a complete, it's not, it might not make sense. But if you're curious, call Jane, call Jenna, call Peter.
Also the videos out there.
Or watch the video, because the video is out there. So, and I would highly encourage people to come and listen. Marilyn's a regular attendee there, and Karen is, and Jean.
I missed this one, I'm gonna miss the next one too.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to come, because you glean or listen at least, you glean interesting information from these.
You do.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's it.
One point that I heard, and it's in here, is they did have, and it's the first time it's happened, and it was not what was hoped would happen. It's not a big deal, but I just would want to make the note for history. They are dipping into the contingency fund for one of these things. Jane had thought there'd be money in something, and she found out she couldn't use it. So she had to ask that they go into the contingency fund. So it's just something to keep an eye on.
what was that for?
There were a couple of things that they've gone into the contingency fund. I think one of them might have been the consultant they hired for the pre-bids.
Yes.
I don't think the town paid for that.
No,
I think that came, and there was another one.
one's the fire thing, but
Yeah,
I thought they did it for, and I could be wrong, but I really know it. I mean, Jane wasn't thrilled to have to ask for it. I mean, you can
Yeah.
sense her pain. It's not our ideal to have to do this, and
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. I'm not making a fuss. I'm just noting that it's something we need to keep an eye on. I think the other one had to do, it's in here.
I can ask specifically what
Yeah.
that's for.
Yeah.
and if any of our members who are listening or are in attendance and are very knowledgeable when it comes to construction and plumbing and fire extinguishers, and I encourage you to participate and talk to me, because I'd be interested in talking to you about it.
Has to be verified.
All right, thank you very much, Nancy, for being our
It's not a
representative.
big deal. It's just notice when it happens.
Just want to announce that there is the Connected Reading Open House at the library. Marilyn is going to be there, October 28th. Are you looking for somebody else?
I would love to have someone sit at the table there, and Chris does not have a table for elder services, so I volunteered that we would represent them as well. We've got a big stack of pleasantries, so if someone would come share the table with me and just.
I will.
Okay,
If anybody else wants to, then we can break it. How long is it for?
2 hours,
2
5 to
hours,
7.
yeah.
It's free pizza and cookies usually. Last year you went over though to the Friends, are they not doing it? You're welcome if you want to come. Last year you didn't, we're Friends instead.
Oh, the Friends table.
I'm in the same situation. I might be able to give you some time.
That'd be great.
I'm usually there too. We
Okay,
have the downtown trick or treat, but I can go there after,
okay,
Yeah.
keep you company.
okay. Just, when you get 3 people, which would be a huge amount to come.
5 to 7, right?
Yes, 5 to 7. It's nice. You meet really interesting people. Most of them are new to Reading and you find out how excited they are about the town and it's fun to tell them we've got these resources and they love the event. It's a nice event and it's not terribly long. And there's free pizza and cookies usually.
There's, yep, still free pizza this year.
Yeah. Thank you for organizing that, being willing to volunteer. Thank you, Nancy and John, and if anybody else is able to go. All right, the next item is discussion and vote to change our monthly meeting start time. We changed last month's to 6 o'clock. Some of us seem to like that. And we decided that we'd hold off and wait until this month to actually discuss it further and vote on it, because we didn't have it as a vote, I don't think, the last time. Maybe we did, but we didn't feel ready to vote on it. I'm open to hearing comments about changing it, keeping it at 6:30 or moving it to 6 o'clock.
I move the question.
We have to have a motion first, don't we? Do we have a motion?
And you're the one that asked us to table it last
No,
time.
I've been thinking about it, now I just want to get done with it.
So we need a motion first, and then we can question.
Okay.
Well, don't we need to discuss it at all?
Well, yeah, we have moved motion, discuss.
Okay, so we do
and then
have
vote.
discuss coming. It would be good to know that everyone actually can come at 6 at a minimum.
Do we have somebody want to,
Discuss.
Make a motion?
somebody want to make a
Oh,
motion?
I make a motion that we move the Council on Aging annual meeting time.
No, wait,
Monthly.
Monthly meeting, annual, monthly. Monthly meeting from 6:30 to 6 p.m.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And I move the question.
I think it's
Okay.
irresponsible to not ask if at least everyone's capable of coming at 6.
Well, if the question's been moved, there's no discussion.
Well, I'm commenting on your
Mhm.
thing that,
That
that's
means we have to
really.
vote now.
Yeah,
Okay,
we do.
all right. Karen,
Yes.
John,
No,
No?
I'm gonna be outvoted, so just go ahead.
Oh, my God.
Vote it down and get over with it.
Nancy,
Yes.
Marilyn.
I'm gonna abstain because we've not discussed this properly.
Okay, Karen, yes. Jean?
I'm going to abstain.
So what do we got?
So wait, okay, so it's.
You're voting on the moving of the question first. If someone moves the question, you have to vote whether
Oh,
to close
Okay,
discussion.
I vote yes.
Oh, we missed
Wait a
it.
minute.
So we have to vote.
Thank you, Emily.
Everything.
Thank
So
you.
we have to vote to approve, to
move the
move the question.
Yes.
Thank you, Emily.
So if you vote yes on moving the question, there's no more discussion.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you
so
probably know how to do that.
I don't know this.
But you
So
can still.
anybody who can't make it at
This
6
is wrong.
o'clock doesn't get an opportunity to say that they can't make it at 6 o'clock.
Can't they just vote me down and get over with it?
I don't know that you'd have gotten voted down if we'd been allowed to discuss it.
Well, if you vote no now
Yeah.
on the motion to move the question,
Yeah.
then you will open it for
No,
discussion.
it says, I'm looking up move the question under what Robert's rules. You
Yeah.
must first be recognized with that by the chair and then say, I move the question to immediately end debate and proceed to a vote on the pending motion.
That's what
This
I thought.
requires a
Yeah.
second, is not debatable, and typically needs 2/3 vote to pass.
So moves to vote. So we were,
We weren't voting on the motion, we were voting on moving
No.
it.
But that's a
Voting
little
on the motion.
confusing, Karen. It said at the end, it requires 2/3 vote to pass. That makes
To
it
pass,
sound like
to move the
to
question.
move the question, right?
Yeah.
So we are
Oh.
voting on moving the question.
Well,
Can we start it?
Oh, you're
Because she
right,
made a
that is
motion.
confusing.
And I'm not even clear what the
Because she
question
made a
is.
motion.
thanks, John. Just
The
have to do that.
question
kind of.
is,
Next time I'm gonna vote yes, just to get this thing over with.
We're having more
Okay.
discussion
the
on this.
motion or
than
the
we were-
question is to change the time.
The question is to change.
Change the time.
So
John moved to move the question. In other words, go right to a vote on the question
With no discussion.
with no discussion. I don't remember if it was seconded.
Yeah.
Now we have to vote on his motion, whether or not we want to move. Well, but then
Yeah.
I said the same thing, Karen, but then.
Yeah, but
you have to
but you
do
know what, that was
yours.
Gemini and AI, that was an AI summary.
Okay,
So that's, they
well,
hallucinate.
but
Yeah.
They do.
So I'm,
that's your contradiction to it.
so the call the question definition is a motion used to end the debate on a pending question and bring it to a vote immediately. You could think of it as a vote to begin the vote. Calling the question is a meeting protocol that, whatever.
Yeah, so
Can you
you're
just
voting
Can
right,
you just withdraw? Can you both withdraw like what you said?
Start
Yeah.
over
Good
again.
idea.
Yes, you can rescind the motion.
Yeah. Both of you
And it
rescind
also
and like,
needed
let's
to
have a
be
normal
moving
conversation.
the
I
question.
rescind my motion.
Sean,
Rescind.
Otherwise, John, we're gonna be here till, I don't know,
Yeah.
10:30?
I'll rescind my motion.
Thank you.
To
move.
move the
Okay,
question.
yeah.
Okay.
Just have a normal
All right.
conversation.
Rewind. Okay, so you're rescinding your motion?
I think what I heard was I had to
So, okay, so the question
Going
is,
to you right here.
so the question is, if we move it to 6 o'clock, which it seems like people might want to do, is that something that's possible for everyone to change the starting time to 6? Will it work for your schedule?
Yes. What do we do with the members though that aren't here? What do you want to do with them, Marilyn?
Well, it was on the agenda and I didn't hear from anybody about what
Yeah.
they would say.
So I'm assuming
That it
everyone's
means
good
it's
with it.
okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, who knows what people's dinner plans are, what their family commitments are, who knows?
Anyone not make 6?
There might be some times where I won't be able to make it in person. I'll have to attend by Zoom. But I should be able to make every meeting at 6 o'clock, one way or the other.
Okay.
yeah, who can't make it?
We can always make a new motion if we do this next month and find out we've got 2 people here.
Why, are we in discussion now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why do we want to just do this anyways? Just half an hour?
You mean to change it to 6?
Yeah.
It seemed to work very well the last time. And in the winter, I prefer it earlier, especially now it gets dark so early and it's gonna be cold and, we get out of here at takes tonight's meeting is going to be 2 hours. So
I'd like to think I get home
But
earlier.
it is nice for.
But there's also a good chance you just extended another half
I
hour.
don't wanna do, 6 o'clock, it just.
Well, I think
Why don't we try?
last month too, Karen, you said there are times because when stuff's going on, one of the other groups also meets and they tend to meet at 7
Yeah.
when they have to call a special meeting. And then 6 at least allows us to do some of what we need to do and go if we need to go to those other meetings. And
Yep.
so I like that perspective too.
Any other thoughts? Joan, I know I'm not in favor of that.
I'm not in favor of it, but it's not really pressing. I mean, I can do it, I just prefer not to, that's all.
Can you share with us why you prefer 6:30?
I think I said before, I'd rather go to 7 o'clock if I had my choice.
Really?
Yeah, I'd like to have a nice, relax a little bit and then come down for a meeting. But at any rate, if it makes any difference, I'm just about to vote yes on this darn thing.
All right.
Make a motion,
Nancy.
I make a motion to change the time of the monthly Council on Aging meeting from 6:30 to 6 p.m.
And I'll second it.
Thank
Okay,
you, John.
all right, now we can vote. Oh, any discussion?
No.
here?
Any further discussion? Seeing none. Karen,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Marilyn.
Yes.
Karen, yes. Jean,
Yes,
thank you. Okay, and then future agenda items, the big thing is talking about when we can have our November meeting. Because town meeting is in November and we can't have a meeting obviously against town meeting. And we want to give you all time to put together your plan. So we can't move, I would say, don't do it it's like the 3rd, November 3rd would be too early.
What about the 17th
Town meeting.
Town
Town
meeting,
meeting.
if it does go,
and the 10th?
The tenth,
Yeah, the
yeah.
10th.
The
that's
tenth is when it
Thursday.
starts, right?
Yeah.
Town meeting
Yes.
starts on the tenth.
10th to 13th.
And fall-time
17th
meetings
and
have to go
27th.
at least 3 sessions.
Could you do a Wednesday instead of a Monday for November?
Could we
What
do
about
it November
like
4th or 5th?
4th is election then.
Oh, okay.
What about like the 19th?
We don't have any
The Permanent
elections.
building committee,
Is the
I
fifth.
think, yeah, usually.
Is the 24th too late?
I don't want to get into
That's in-
Thanksgiving
that's
week.
yeah, Thanksgiving week.
Friday?
See,
Thanksgiving week is very.
How
big.
about Friday night and COA Springs for the pizza?
Friday.
any Friday, we'll come for pizza.
I can't come here because town hall's all locked up.
Yeah,
on
right, right.
But there's some people that work on Friday that could probably let us in.
We're not doing it on a Friday.
No.
Okay.
What about the
12th, which
6th
is
of
a Wednesday.
November? What about the 6th?
How about we give ourselves a little bit more time?
Yes.
It's
Like,
only
I would
next
say
week.
like right around the 12th or
12th?
maybe the 19th at the latest.
The 12th or 19th work for me.
I
Yeah.
can do the 12th.
The thing is, those of us who are town meeting members, that's 3 meetings that week. You okay with that? The 12th,
How about the 19th?
19th?
Might not go to that last date for town. meeting.
Right. It,
Right.
I mean, that would be a
Usually
nice
I
idea,
do.
but we won't know it in advance, so.
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
means nobody else, I don't know that we can even schedule something that is, could potentially be.
You're not
At
supposed
the
to.
town meeting.
Yeah.
How about the 19th of November? Works.
Yeah, the night, yeah. 19th, that Wednesday could work. But we need to see, and then we just need to see where we'd have to
So
have the meeting, because there could be some.
what is town meeting again?
Yeah, town meeting is 10, 13, 17, and possibly the 20th.
Mhm.
But probably not, I don't know how much is pressing.
And what's wrong with the 18th?
18th, I don't know if there's, there's probably not a select board meeting, do you think? We have to find out what else is going on.
The 18th, I'm
Can you look at the town
on
calendar?
vacation, I mean, in Gillette for a conference, so I don't know that I would be back by 6 on the 18th.
You won't be, I was at a.
Yeah, there's a pesky
So let's figure out and change it to 6:30 again.
Should we just try the 19th?
19 looks good on my calendar.
Works.
Okay,
November 19th.
November
November
19th.
19th.
Okay,
Is that okay? November 19th.
At 6:00, COA. 6.
Okay, any pressing future agenda items, feel free to just email me.
Okay, there were some on here. Future agenda items
There were.
that were in the minutes.
There were.
I'll take a look at that and
Yeah,
add it if we
I
need to.
saw those, I did see them somewhere and I couldn't remember where I
And
saw
Kate
I
them.
think it
Kate
was
had
just Kate and me
Yeah,
had
Kate
2
had asked
items
for
on.
discussion and you that, and I mentioned to Karen that it's switched off of it this month, because I finally request, so I don't know if you were ready to propose, but next month you could do it now.
Nancy,
We're gonna propose
if
that.
you notice this appointed to me, for probably a specific reason.
I'm ready, John.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Jean,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Marilyn? Yes. Karen, yes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
see,
everybody.
At 6 o'clock, we would be done before 8. And I
Okay.
like that.
Yes.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but that's-
I mean, to be honest, that's not a guarantee with this.
Right.
Uh,